let's get right into this mess at Young and the Restless. My months of giving Josh Griffith a little bit of a pass are over. Had this show killed off Ashland earlier in July, this would probably be in last place, or at least 10th place. But since it happened towards the end of the month when I was already kind of making my decisions what the bottom soaps would be, Young and the Restless falls in the middle to 6th place for July 2022. Probably the last time Young and the Restless isn't towards the bottom of my rankings for this year, or until they get rid of Josh Griffith. All those months of actually trying to gain momentum, but in Josh Griffith fashion, let's take the easy way out with the smallest amount of drama. Let's ruin any sort of interesting dynamics that were being built up. This show has been being carried by Ashland and Diane for months now, but now one half of that is going to be dead. And even if he's not actually dead and they bring him back from the dead, I'm not bringing Young and the Restless back up in my rankings. For various different reasons, but mostly because I've seen Back from the Dead stories so much on these damn soaps that I don't want to see another one. They made a huge mistake with the story without being to take it in a more creative, dynamic direction. This show also just continues to make the Newman family one of the hardest families to watch in all of soap operas. They are right there with the Dingles on Emmerdale for me. I'm so sick of them. They're all so unlikable. Even Nikki these days. Nikki was always the only Newman that I ever occasionally rooted for as it is. Maybe Nick at times. But now the whole family is borderline unwatchable. I might make a special video just for how shitty of a characters the entire Newman family is. And that might be controversial. Yeah, they're iconic and all. Yeah. But over the last 2 decades, they're borderline unwatchable because of the way they've been written. And we have to add to the fact that we've basically seen almost this exact same story with Victoria when it came to JT and JT's death and the Newmans working together to cover it up. The only person that's missing, I think, is Sharon. So Josh is just telling a story we've already seen with basically most of the same characters. And if Ashton were to come back to life and get some kind of revenge, that would also be just as similar to the JT story. This is shit. This is shit writing. And I wish it would have happened earlier so I could have put Young and the Restless lower in my rankings. But it's kind of where it needs to be. Young and the Restless is now in the middle of the pack. They had some months of momentum, but they have an absolutely talentless writer writing for this show. Griffith seems to always just write every single story up to a point where he then gets lazy and he wants to take the worst possible route. He wants to cut any drama out of any possible stories. We did not even get enough dynamics between Diane and Ashland, which would have made for great television. Even Ashland and Adam working together would have worked for me. All 3 of them should have been working together, causing havoc. But no, kill off Ashland the easiest way out with the less possible drama. Because just watching the Newmans get away with murder, hiding bodies, I don't care. Nothing's going to happen to them. We already know this. There's not going to be anything that's going to happen to them, so what's the point of the story? We see the Newmans get out of everything. They write Victor as the person that always gets the upper hand over everyone, and that's Eric Braden's fault. Eric Braden is 81 years old. This show needs characters like Ashland to be at least some sort of formidable foe. Victor is an iconic character. I would never take that away from him. But now, in current time, it's stupid. It's stupid. Victor should not be running the show. He's 81 years old. So once this happened, it has taken away any give a fuck I have about this show going forward until Josh Griffith is gone. I will not put Young and the Restless back in the top 5 of my rankings while Josh Griffith is on the show. It would have to be simply amazing stuff. I will not give Young and the Restless credit for any small gains for any sort of fixing dynamics like they did over the past few months. Not giving them credit for that anymore because Josh Griffith has showed his ass once again that he sucks at his job and he needs to be gone sooner rather than later. All of these American soap operas are becoming a broken record for me. Everyone at the top absolutely sucks at their jobs and they all make bad decision after bad decision, and it's getting old. I'm going on close to a year talking about this and seeing all these American soap operas consistently make bad decisions it's getting harder and harder to watch again, and it's reminding me why I stopped watching American soap operas for the most part between 2018 and 2020. Like I don't even want to talk about any other positive things because frankly there's not even that much positive things to talk about. The only thing left to carry the show now is Diane, and some of the Diane versus Phyllis dynamics are still entertaining. And I also don't hate Noah and Allie. They've had some cute moments, but can we face it? They're both boring as shit. They don't know how to make this exciting, of course, because Josh Griffith doesn't know a single thing about exciting. I've also enjoyed how Imani's plotting to get Nate and have Nate away from Elena, but let's not act like this gets a lot of screen time. All of the black characters continue to be in their own side of the show instead of actually having dynamics with the white cast. It's objectively awful. The show has lost momentum. Once again, it's on its way back down. It's going to be dramaless. They're going to have only Diane left to try and carry the show, and it's not going to work. So once again, just to reiterate how stupid of a decision I take this to be, it was Robert Newman that brought energy back to this show. And then they brought back Diane, and they found even more energy to this show. But of course, they killed off Ashland now. And even if he comes back, it's not going to work because of the bad writing from Josh Griffith. The show is about to go through months of being dramaless again because we see Griffith takes the most boring roads to go down, the most simple roads to go down, or he barely gives screen time to any interesting stories like Imani. So you all can expect Young and the Restless to be towards the bottom of my rankings for months and months to come, probably until Josh Griffith is away from this show. I hate a lot of the writing on a lot of these shows, but there's something about Josh Griffith's writing that pisses me off because we all know what needs to be done, but he always does the wrong choice. And he doesn't give us excitement. Ron, for all of his faults and his over-the-top nonsense and his downright bad writing, on days we at least get some exciting storylines from time to time. And days can be entertaining on some daily basis because some of the scriptwriters actually have talent. On General Hospital, I can't even think of good things to say about General Hospital either right now. They need changes too. So we'll move on to Bold and the Beautiful. The reason that Bold and the Beautiful, out of all the American soap operas, I think even comparing the American soap operas to some of the foreign soap operas on the top of my rankings is impossible to do because they're so much worse than them. But even on Bold and the Beautiful, where, in my opinion, over my 10 months of doing these rankings, I think I've had Bold and the Beautiful consistently higher than the rest of the American soap operas until recent months, but I still think overall Bold has been consistently higher. And I think the reason for that is, as bad as the writing is on that show, at least the stories move along at such a fast pace, and as much as I sometimes hate that happening, we at least get to see new dynamics and new couples, kind of, and at least, they move on to different things. But Young and the Restless, we don't get anything. There's no excitement on a daily basis. We finally had interesting dynamics, but they went and fucked it all up. And now it's in 6th place and only going down and down and down in my rankings until Josh Griffith is out of here.